Radical Education Reform, Post-Katrina, New Orleans. Our purpose. The overall goal of this action plan is to foster meaningful community engagement within our school district, ensuring that the voices and perspectives of various stakeholders, including parents, teachers, students, and community members, are valued and incorporated into decision-making processes by charter management organizations. Reform in the aftermath of crisis. Following the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina in 2005, New Orleans experienced a unique change in its education system, marked by radical reforms. The hurricane, which made landfall roughly 3 years after the controversial No Child Left Behind Act, caused an entire shutdown in the Orleans Parish School Board. After the storm, the state of Louisiana allowed the Recovery School District to acquire schools that were deemed as failing. The creation of the Recovery School District Authority was not only an effort to remedy chronic underperformance, but also provided guidelines to promote the creation of charter schools. Holly Walker, 2007. Charters and accountability. Policymakers claim that charters would provide equity and choice, allowing the city to move on from systemic issues, widespread underperformance, inequity, and lack of accountability in the city's education infrastructure. The implementation of these drastic reforms led to a shift in the transformation of the traditional public school system into a predominantly charter school model. School takeover. This shift was driven by the belief that charter schools could offer greater autonomy, innovation, and accountability, and ultimately improve educational outcomes for students in a city plagued by many challenges. Although supporters and policymakers claim that this move in education will create a more equitable education experience for many disadvantaged communities, critics believe that reforms of this nature harm the very people they are intended to help. 20 years later, the privatization and decentralization of schools post-Katrina placed New Orleans on track to be the only city in the country to have a 100% charter school district. Post-Katrina education reform in New Orleans is an intricate case of innovative educational restructuring, public school privatization in the face of crisis, and the consequences of radical education reform. Although many charters have community and partnership in their missions and mantras, many stakeholders voice feeling completely shut out from school business and operations. As studies showed that parents of New Orleans had specific desires when it came to selecting schools for their children, they were based on the historical legacy of schools, distance, academics, and athletic programming. Harris and Lawson, 2023. C is for community. The community cultivated a strong sense of accountability to the larger well-being of students served by public schools. In this sense, the New Orleans community was a strong protective factor that instilled a sense of history, culture, and belonging, despite structural and persistent problems. This sense of responsibility to students extended beyond traditional family lines. Cook, 2018. Data dive. School DNF ratings over time. The number of DNF schools in the Orleans Parish School District and former New Orleans-based Recovery School District have increased. In our percent of total, 2015 we see 35%, 2016 we see 36%, 2017 we see 41%, 2018 we see a dip for 38%, 2019 we see a spike in 49%. Racial makeup of newly hired teachers. We're looking at 2003, right around the time that No Child Left Behind was enacted into law. A pause for 2005 during Hurricane Katrina. We picked back up again in 2007. And just to see the stark differences from 2007 all the way on to 2014 with the decrease in African American teachers and the increase in white teachers. Reflection. 2019-2020 governance chart, New Orleans Public Schools. We have 5 new schools being opened, 86 schools in total, and 7 closed schools. Looking forward to where we are, 2023 to 2024. 75 total schools compared to 78 last school year. 3 school changes, 3 school closures, 2 school mergers, 1 school change. All charter no more. New Orleans School Board will run a school this fall. WWNO, New Orleans Public Radio. New Orleans School Board will run New Orleans School Board will run a school directly next school year and beyond. It's a big move for the country's only all-charter public school system, which hasn't operated a school directly since 2019 and has had mostly charters for much longer. The board voted unanimously Monday to direct run Lafayette Academy, which lost its charter during this year's renewal process. It's the first time the district has moved to open a direct run school after 2 decades of transitioning to an all-charter system. And the board took things a step further, instructing Superintendent Avis Williams to come up with a plan to run more schools directly. For the first time, we are saying we want additional direct schools, Parker said, after proposing the measure as an amendment. We tell her the what, and she tells us the how. When the state took over the city schools, it fired all of the district's teachers. Many families felt as if their schools, often a point of pride for local communities, had been ripped away from them. The charter school program is a failed experiment, said Gregory Manning, pastor of Broadmoor Community Church, at last week's meeting. Manning said when low-performing schools aren't renewed, the district should put community schools in their place. It's about time, and it needs to happen to protect children in this city. C is for community. By implementing comprehensive community engagement initiatives, the aim is to cultivate a culture of collaboration, trust, and accountability that will enhance the quality and relevance of educational experiences for all members of our school community. Budget requests. The success of this action plan hinges on adequate resources to effectively engage with our stakeholders, gather vulnerable input, and incorporate diverse perspectives into decision-making processes. As part of our commitment to fostering meaningful community engagement and driving positive change within our school district, we are seeking financial support to implement the proposed comprehensive community engagement initiatives. The proposed budget. Conduct needs assessment, $2,000 to $5,000. Schedule and publicize town hall meetings, $1,000 to $3,000. Facilitate focus groups and community forums, $3,000 to $6,000. Present action plan to school board and community, $500 to $1,000. Evaluate effectiveness of community engagement, $5,000 to $10,000. Total proposed budget, $25,000. Please note that these figures are rough estimates and may be subject to adjustment based on specific needs and available resources. Action plan step 1. Month 1. Conduct needs assessment to identify stakeholders. District administrators, community outreach partners, and coordinators will work together. For this, we will need survey tools, personnel time for analysis, $2,000 to $5,000. Timeline, months 2 to 3. Schedule and publicize town hall meetings. Community outreach coordinators, marketing departments. We're looking for venue rentals, marketing materials, between $1,000 and $3,000. Months 4 to 6. Facilitate focus group and community forums. The individuals responsible, school principals, community liaisons, and facilitators. For costs, we're looking for facilitator stipends, refreshments, meeting supplies. We're looking for between $3,000 to $6,000. Months 7 to 8. Analyze feedback and identify common themes. District administrators and data analysis will be involved. The cost. Personnel time for analysis. This is included in district personnel costs. Months 9 through 10. Develop an action plan based on community input. District leadership team advisory committees will be involved. Personnel time for planning, implementation, and monitoring, again from the district. Month 11 through 12. Present action plan to school board and community. District superintendent, school board members involved. Meeting expenses, presentation materials. We're looking for $500 to $1,000. And then ongoing throughout the year, implementing our action plan and monitoring progress with our school administrators, community outreach coordinators. Again, personnel time for implementation and monitoring, including in the district personnel costs. At the end of the academic year, evaluating effectiveness of community engagement. District evaluation teams, external consultants. We're looking for evaluation tools, external consultant fees, personnel time, an average of $5,000 to $10,000. Thank you so much for your support in allocating the necessary funds for this initiative that will enable us to create a more inclusive, collaborative, and effective educational environment for all members of our school community. Together, we can make a significant and lasting impact on the lives of our students and families. Thank you so much for your time and your consideration.